You started?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, oops.
Oh
That's
no.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But yes, you're right. I think it's really Secret Invasion that is going to be the link to the Marvels rather than the Loki series.
Secret
Yeah.
Invasion.
They'll be separate things, I think.
You're right, you're right.
But yeah, Loki did a solid show so far. So.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
critics
I find
said,
it quite achieving. So
yeah, with any type of
Mhm.
show anyway, there's gonna be like people who dislike it, people who like it. So fans and critics never tend to agree sometimes.
I mean,
So maybe
a matter of
if
taste. So
so maybe if it comes out, we might actually enjoy the Marvels. We don't know. But
Yeah.
now, because from what we heard so far, we're going in with like quite low expectations.
Low expectation, review embargo,
yeah.
low box office projections.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That might surprise us, so we don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah, who knows? Because the last show that I watched with had scathing reviews, just completely broke box office records insanely.
So it's hard to tell, like, because the audience and critics can have widely different reactions to the same movie,
Exactly.
and it's there's no way to predict it.
Unless it's Quantumania, where everyone agreed
Yeah,
it was a bad movie.
like something had to really really bomb and really be that bad for critics and audiences to agree, like
We'll see. Maybe Marvels will really, really be
yeah.
terrible.
Yeah. So what's the projection for the Marvels anyway? I don't really
Like,
know.
oh, it's like instead of box office, 70 million, which is like very low.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
the budget is 200 mil. They're gonna be screwed.
That's
If the
quite a
projection is not
that's quite a big loss
200 mil,
if
wow.
it doesn't hit the.
Oh, I mean for the first weekend. That's what. Yeah.
I mean, they might still recover from international sales or something, but it is, yeah, they have to do well opening weekend, because if not, then it's going to be hard to claw back from there.
I think there still will be because it is a Marvel film.
Yeah.
Mm.
And people will kind of still watch it just for completeness, because you'll want to watch all the movies in the Marvel series because they're all interlinked stories.
True, but then some of them will say, "Oh, I'm just gonna wait streaming."
Yeah, because the wait to streaming now is a lot less now. It's absolutely insane how fast now some films are going to streaming.
Yeah.
Like a Blue Beetle, it's like so fast.
Yeah.
It came out the week after it came out here in Australia. Like what?
I find that doesn't really give it a chance at the theaters if it's too close.
Yeah,
I think you've got to give it a few months to at least have a good theater run.
yeah, I know.
Otherwise, you're essentially damaging the performance. If you do that, you're going to damage the theater performance.
Yeah, the same thing happened with Five Nights at Freddy's. It completely killed at the box office. It broke records. Critics hate it, audiences love it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it now, it's sitting at 30% Rotten Tomatoes for the critics. And like 88% audience score. I just checked it right now. 88%. That's insane. It's broken records and everything. And now it's on digital. Like, what the heck? It only came out like last week.
Yeah, that they shouldn't do that. If they had known, I think, how successful it would be at the box office, they probably would have delayed the digital release just to give it a chance to make more money. Yeah. But it's a shame when they do that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame, but they got it all back in like the first week anyway. It's like broken
That's good. At least
over 130 million in the first week already, and now it's on digital. Why?
yeah. But at least it had that success, so it didn't hurt, too much, I suppose, in terms of the revenue side of things. But they should have given it a longer
Yeah, they should have.
time in between, just to give it, a bit more time in the theaters to be successful.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing now. Like once it doesn't seem to be as successful, they seem to like push it up for the digital release.
Mm.
Same thing happened with the like latest Fast series one. It only took like 2 weeks.
That's way too fast.
Yeah,
Mm.
considering that the show is called Fast as well,
Fast.
it's just insane.
Yeah, that is so funny.
But still, it's like not nice.
Yeah. Now, if you really want to give a movie a chance, you should keep it longer at the box office and delay the digital release by several months.
As much as possible.
Yeah.
Well, who knows? Maybe the Marvels will be like one of those Five Nights at Freddy's
yeah.
where the audience and the critics don't agree with each other.
I mean, I'm still looking forward to seeing that because having that sort of ending with Miss Marvel, I'm sort of intrigued to see where that takes off. I think they're gonna start from there in terms of start from where that series left off.
Yep. But I say with the Marvels, they would have to watch Miss Marvel to understand more for the show. Which I think that's also why a lot of the reviewers might have rated it poorly.
Yeah.
They probably don't understand all the properties as a whole.
Yeah, there's a lot of story that they probably would have missed just because they hadn't watched the Miss Marvel series.
Yeah.
It would have made sense if they watched that. Because they'll be talking about bracelets and stuff like that, and critics have no idea.
It's fair enough. Like you shouldn't have to.
Yeah, the same thing happened with like Quantum Mania. Like there was a lot of explanation that needed to be said.
Yeah.
But all of the explanation that was said was in the Loki show.
Yeah. So
but they probably don't watch all the properties.
Yeah. I think if they're not gonna watch it, they should at least do a little bit of background research, just a bit of Googling, even.
Yeah.
And people do summaries on YouTube. They could always, if they don't have time to watch an entire series because it's several hours, even like a 20-minute YouTube summary can catch them up.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of YouTubers do those.
Yeah, there's plenty.
Everything you need to know before the movie. And sometimes those things are like 20-30 minutes long as well.
Yeah.
Which sometimes is insane, but yeah, just as a recap. The same thing happened with the Ahsoka show.
Yeah.
There was like a whole 30 to 40-minute recap for everything leading up to Ahsoka, which were all of the
so the Star Wars Rebels, Clone Wars
properties. Yeah. All of those properties.
Yeah, it was pretty helpful as a guide to all the characters that were there that, maybe people who'd only seen the movies, like the sequels, or Rogue One, that they weren't quite familiar with, because there were a lot of these other characters. So I think that definitely helps. Yeah.
Yeah, the recaps always help, but the reviewers probably don't want to do those. Which is why a lot of these new universe type shows tend to not do really good in terms of reviews.
I think probably the only series where I would say you didn't need to watch anything else of Marvel is Moon Knight. That was very standalone.
Yeah, that's kind of true, but they did have some references here and there.
There were some references here and there, but they weren't heavy. Like
Exactly, yeah.
they didn't take away from you not knowing what's going on. Like it wouldn't cause you to not know what's going on, even if you didn't get those references, because it was such a complete storyline
Standalone,
within
yeah.
the series itself.
And then the She-Hulk, where
Mm.
knowing everything would be your advantage.
Mm.
Mm.
But now a lot of series are going into the whole universe thing. Like the newest universe thing, if you know the whole Doctor Who series, they've announced their universe as well now.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole Who universe, the actual proper one now.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm.
So that's kind of interesting, and it, again, is going to be confusing.
Mm.
Mm. Definitely.
But yeah, I think we need a new set of reviewers which review these whole universe related type shows.
Yeah.
Because if we're going off a standard reviewer, they probably just want the whole self-contained type share.
But I think that's fair, right? Because if the audience, you can't expect the audience to know everything. So these reviewers are coming from that perspective.
Yeah.
Like for the, the casual, non-hardcore viewer.
Yeah. But then as well with the whole creating universes, John Wick's universe now as well.
Yeah.
Because the what was that show called on Amazon Prime again? I forgot. They just
Continental.
finished. Yeah, the Continental that finished.
So for example, that one is very it's within that John Wick's universe.
Yeah,
And if you didn't watch John Wick's at all, you'd be like, what is this?
Yeah, so it's a whole universe type problem. Like we need some reviewers which know the universe to kind of review those.
Yeah. I just think that that's the way that movie making is now.
Yeah, they're creating the entire universe.
The Conjuring is, for example, another one that has it's its own universe.
The Fast series also is its own universe.
Fast series. Yeah.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah, exactly. Matrix, just all
The
that.
Matrix, Star Wars. There's so many now. It's like we need proper reviewers who know the stuff to review it instead of having them have it self-contained. The whole Five Nights at Freddy's one is also one of those big ones. It's a game series turned into a movie, and a lot of the lore they do not understand it at all.
Yeah.
Which is why there's that huge discrepancy, 30% to 90%. Like what?
Yeah, because the people who watch it, obviously a large percentage of them will be people who have played the games and are fans of the games. So they know the story very well. And this is just, the live action version of that.
Yeah, exactly. And they absolutely loved it.
Yeah. I mean, there's, a lot of game to movie adaptations like Assassin's Creed,
and a lot of them
Persia, there's a lot of those kinds.
Yeah, a lot of them don't tend to do too well though, but some of them now are starting to get the hang of it.
It's a bit hit and miss, I have to say. Sometimes it's successful, like with Five Nights at Freddy's, but
the Mario movie as well. It didn't get good reviews, but the audience loves it.
Yeah, but you've got Super Mario. That's another editing thing, and then what was the other one? It was fairly recent as well.
There was Uncharted.
Yeah, that's right. Tom Holland. Yeah, Uncharted.
That one did fairly okay.
I think that one was actually fairly successful because even if you weren't familiar with the game, it's just a fun action adventure anyway.
Yeah.
Sort of movie. Treasure hunt. Very, like it's a very national treasure type of movie.
Yeah.
So
I think-
people can enjoy
yeah.
it. that way.
So I think having a reviewer now that's just doing like a standalone movie type is being a bit old school now, because there's, even though there are a lot of movies which are still standalone, a lot of the universe type stories now are expanding.
Yeah.
There's so many now that it's growing.
That's just how it is now. So I think, yeah, if they are gonna review it, those type of movies, even if they don't watch the like every movie in the series,
Yeah.
they can still do their research.
Yeah. Like I get where the DC one happened. They were doing all the standalone ones, but then the movies didn't do well because the fans didn't like it because it wasn't part of the universe. But if DCU creates a whole new universe with James Gunn at the helm, the problem is now that many critics will probably not like the movies because of the shared universe.
I think they're doing separate ones. For instance, the Batman, that's in its own separate universe.
Yeah, that makes it even more confusing.
Well, true. But you just have
Because,
to
yeah.
keep in mind that that's separate from the main one. So
Yeah.
that it's got nothing to do with the main one. So you don't have to know anything about the main one.
So
to
the
enjoy that one.
Batman essentially will be its own universe.
That's right.
I did hear about that as well. But then if they're doing it in concurrent with the other DC property one, which is a universe one, fans will probably want them to intersect, and
Well,
they probably won't
the
work.
main one has its own Batman, so which is separate from.
Yeah, exactly.
Pattinson.
That's what makes it confusing.
Yeah, but it's
Different
it's like it allows the creators or to do their own version without conforming to just one. So I guess there's pros and cons.
Yeah, but I think we do need a new range of reviewers which do review these expanded universe type shows and movies and TV series.
Anyway, how did we get to this? We're not even talking about Loki.
Oh yeah. Whoops. All right, let's get back to Loki.
We got a bit distracted there, but I mean, in terms of Loki, it's
13. How many Easter eggs? Yeah, spaghettification.
Oh yeah, so much spaghettification.
Yeah, so it's got the temporal sort of, the radiation that we sort of saw when Victor Timely went into that space.
Yeah, this whole effect of this spaghetti stuff and then destroying everything.
Yeah,
I think a lot of fans have compared this to the blip, because that's also kind of
not to the blip, but apparently I've heard a lot now after watching it that they're comparing it to Multiverse of Madness.
The Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, because the spaghettification was in there when Reed Richards was popped.
Spaghettification. Wow, it's actually a real word.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, but it happened it happened in Multiverse of Madness as well, when the Scarlet Witch killed Reed Richards. He was spaghettified.
Yeah.
Oh right. No, I think what the fans meant was at end of Infinity War Part 1, where slowly they all disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same kind of like effect,
same kind of feeling and effects, yes.
Yeah.
It's not the same effect.
Yeah.
I mean, with the blip, they like turn to dust kind of thing. It's a bit different. But yeah, this is a different way of doing it, I guess.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it does seem like the spaghettification seems to be multiple versions of them, because if we see that scene again with Loki trying to grab onto the strands,
Yeah.
they could like listen and hear the other versions of that character.
So this is what I meant. So fans getting a lot of Infinity War flashbacks because
Yeah.
of the whole
Flashback.
snap. Yeah. Recreating worse than the snap in some sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the entire timeline was like ended.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. Dusting flashbacks
Mm.
Yeah.
vibes.
Yeah, but this one is far worse. Like the snap were the people who disappeared, like
Yeah,
half of
half of
everyone.
them. Half, yeah.
This was entire branches of the timeline. And
Yeah,
just
branches of the timeline are turning into spaghetti.
yeah.
Like we
The
even
entire world is disappearing.
Yeah.
That entire world in that timeline, in that
Yeah.
particular branch is disappearing.
Yeah, and it's not just people, it's like things.
Hmm.
Like Sylvie's meal just disappeared right in front of her.
Hmm.
Oh, the
Like,
meals.
She put it down on the
On the
car, and then it disappeared. He looks
And-
because it's like, where? Like what? Really?
Then the
It
record
is.
store she was in also disappeared completely.
Yeah. And before that, the mug where he was pouring I think it might have been coffee into, the mug disappeared, so it ended up being poured on the table.
Mm.
And then
And then the table disappeared, and then she ran through the table that used to be there.
yeah, the coffee started becoming spaghetti.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, things get spaghettified as well, not just people.
Hmm.
So it's
Spaghettified,
far worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was also as Jonah was saying, Doctor Strange when Scarlet Witch killed Reed Richards. So that was also in that movie.
Yeah, so I think from that, it seems to be more like they're killing multiple versions of the character all at once,
Mm.
is what it seems like.
Hmm.
So the whole universe is ending, or timelines are ending.
Interestingly, the title, yeah, the letter disappears and reappears,
Hmm.
which is sort of what the episode was about. Loki kept disappearing and reappearing
Hmm.
throughout time.
That time slipping.
Yep.
And then the Alcatraz.
Alcatraz, 1962.
Yes.
Yeah.
Casey's variants.
Frank.
It's
Frank.
it's Frank Morris.
Frank Morris.
How funny. Yeah.
An inmate planning to escape.
Yep. So
Well, he actually
there's
did.
the second time they did it this time.
Yeah.
The previous one being DB Cooper.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It okay, the Birdman of Alcatraz.
The Birdman.
Yeah, it was called the Birdman of Alcatraz. I think he kept birds or something.
So this fish
Right.
reference, right? Fish. What's
Oh,
a
yeah,
fish?
what's a fish? If they catch us, they're gonna cut us like a fish. I
What's
got
a
that.
fish?
I got that one.
Yeah.
And what's a fish? It's interesting now
Fish.
how he talked about getting caught and gutted like a fish.
Yeah.
In this show, when in the previous season, Loki was the one who threatened to gut him like a fish.
Yeah. That's fun. Yeah. So there is that link already.
And DB Cooper. Last season.
Yep, we caught that reference as well.
Oh, the Cooper. Yeah.
Yeah.
DB Cooper.
Hmm.
Good one.
Oh. Yeah, so Alcatraz, hospital, Obi's lab, Mobius jet ski store, McDonald's.
Alcatraz.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
of that is the difference.
And all the different years as well. Like Loki. Oh wait, Alcatraz was 1962. 2012 was B-15.
Oh,
But
yeah.
The jet skis wouldn't have been until after 1980.
Oh,
it
yeah.
was from 2022.
Yeah, but that was
Okay.
2022. So
Yeah.
it's again a different year for each of
Yeah.
them.
And DA Doug was from 1994.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
But then his wife left him and everything,
Mm.
which was really funny, like random. The study said like it took him like 19 months to build the temp pad, and his wife left him.
Because he probably got too obsessed with it.
Probably.
The Zartan Contingent was the book that Obi wrote.
I was wondering if that was a reference to anything in like real life science fiction.
Well, it was
G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe,
Really?
G.I.
G.I.
Joe.
a villain and
I
master of
think the G.I.
disguise,
Joe.
somewhat like Loki himself.
That's
Oh.
interesting. Oh, so that's why he said that it's not every day when one of your characters comes to life.
Yeah, because I was wondering, what does he mean by that? Did he
Into
write a
life.
character that was like Loki and then
Aha.
Loki's there? You know, like that's interesting.
Yeah, so it's like it's not like every day one of your characters that you brought to life appears at the front door.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh, all the cycles and everything
Yeah.
all around it. It is
Yeah.
quite reminiscent.
Of the TVA.
Of his own workshop in the TVA.
Yeah. Or maybe that's the location of where the TVA would be in the future.
Yeah,
Who knows?
like that room is actually that TVA room.
Yeah. His workshop, yeah.
Mm.
Oh, the power move, like because
Hmm.
guilty of all of this, and he can't do his power.
Yeah, the funny scene.
Yeah, but
Straining to accomplish the feat.
but this time it was because he wanted to use the power. In season 1, he did it and it didn't work because they were Daphnes.
That was for a different reason, like because they had the magic dampeners. In TVA.
1049. Okay. Very obscure. The house number is 1049. Earth 1049 is an Earth constructed by Franklin Richards, son of Reed Richards and Sue Storm.
They would never have gone that one.
There's no way we could get that. That's a
Yeah.
very obscure reference.
Really obscure. Zaniac,
Zaniac.
that's the game that
Okay.
we got reference at the end of the show.
Yes, the post credits. Yeah.
And in the post credits, the voice.
Like the "you died, loser"
Yeah.
one. Like you died.
Yeah. That was like a reference to Brad.
Yeah, this one, the secret post credit scene. Loser, you die. Insert a coin, loser.
Mm.
Yeah.
It fits the theme as well because the concept of Loki being destined to lose. But will he lose? We'll see.
Well, I think when Loki was grabbing at the strands, he found the Sylvie one. Because like what makes a Loki is that we're destined to lose.
Mm. Yeah.
But, so I think he could those spaghetti I think is like those lives or multiple lives.
Mm.
Mm.
I could be wrong. Who knows?
But
But-
yeah,
but it does seem like he can interact with them and like pull them.
Mm.
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 So yeah, this was a really interesting episode. We finally see Mobius in his actual life
yeah,
in
that was
2022.
see that something different.
Okay.
Yeah, but we didn't really get a lot of B-15. Like,
Yeah, not as much.
did we even get her name?
No, I think she did. She was just called Doctor or something. Like we didn't actually get a proper name. Or
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a bit disappointing. Maybe it was a deleted part of the show.
maybe there's additional scenes, but they just decided to cut it for the pacing or for whatever reason. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, out of this one, I think that was sort of a missed.
Hmm.
Right? Because we actually didn't see how Loki convinced her to come.
Yeah.
Instead, it just cut from him going to her as his that whole start of the speech, and then just cut.
Yeah, I think the scenes were a little too short for that, a bit too abrupt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
Yeah.
is sad. I understand the OB scenes like 80 Doug.
Mm.
Those were funny,
yeah,
but still, it's
Yeah.
a missed opportunity there with the B-15.
yeah. I would have liked to have learned more from her background, but it was just a little bit of a flashback. Really, it
Yeah.
wasn't too much there. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Mm.
yeah, overall, it's quite a good, intriguing episode.
Mm.
Interesting to see what theory Loki has in terms of how he's gonna fix that temporal loom.
Mm.
yeah, and considering that he has one episode left,
Oh,
The finale next week.
next week. Yeah.
how are they going to do it?
Yeah.
We wonder.
How will they solve that problem? That'd be interesting.
Mm. Did you say Nick Fury might appear? Is it?
Um,
No, sorry, no.
I don't think so.
No, we didn't.
No, sorry, different. He
No,
might appear.
I think you're thinking of
A
the
different one.
Marvels.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Well, we know that he will definitely appear
well,
in
he's
Marvel.
definitely in the Marvels for
It's in the
sure.
trailer.
Oh yeah, he was there
Yeah,
already.
he's definitely gonna be in the Marvels, the
Yeah.
movie, but not in this series. I don't think. I don't think
Oh,
he'll. Be,
Yeah, not likely.
Oh yeah, not in this one. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know. This is just a different series, kind of separate from Nick Fury.
But it does seem like Loki will be a key character going forward.
Yeah. Mm.
Mm,
So we'll see more of Loki.
yeah,
Mm.
that's. I think for sure. Like with the future Marvel movies, even though I know that they're kind of moving to a different phase, they're transitioning to a different phase that won't have as much of the older characters. Like, obviously Captain America's changed. Steve Rogers won't really be back.
Oh yeah, Steve Rogers.
Actually, they are trying to reboot everything. Rumors, reportedly.
Rumors.
Yeah, I don't know what's
Yeah.
happening on that front because
Yeah,
depends on
essentially
whether-
it kind of is a bad decision, especially at this point.
True. That but it does sound like they're desperate, You
Mm.
see, they are trying to set a reboot in the next Avengers movie.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean it'll be interesting how the next one is gonna look like.
Mm.
Because I think that they will definitely introduce additional characters. I think.
Yeah, but essentially it's quite hard right now because the writer's strike is still going on.
They can't really do anything until that strike is over.
Oh, the strike.
No one can
Yeah.
really do much. until
I see.
that's resolved. Because obviously they have to depend on the writers for the stories and
Mm,
scripts and everything. So yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be a while, I think.
mm.
Yeah, till we get a proper story which is written properly.
Yeah.
So a reboot will not help at the moment. If we do it now, it will probably be worse.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be a temporary band-aid, but you probably
But then
won't.
but then if you reboot it now, we won't have the proper writers.
Mm.
Well, we
Mm,
can't do
alright.
anything now because it's on strike, but so nothing can happen.
Yeah, not
I
well.
mean,
Essentially, things can happen, and things are still happening.
Well, they're
It's
not
just
allowed
that-
to.
if
Right.
they're able to strike
Yeah.
a temporary agreement, because there are some
Well,
But
movies where
but those are like writers who aren't really part of the writers guild.
if they're not part of SAG or they're not a SAG member, then it doesn't make a difference to that
Yeah.
production.
But then the problem with that is those writers are probably not that great.
Yeah. So I think, I hope they just resolve it. That's the best thing to do
Yeah.
is resolve it, come up with an agreement that people can be happy with, and just move on so they can go back to work.
Yeah, like I wonder because The Dive was a recent movie, probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen all year.
Oh, really? Is it that
really? No.
bad? Have you seen it? I think you saw
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I
Michael.
saw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give it a 2.5.
What is it about? I haven't seen any.
It makes no sense.
I haven't even seen the trailer. I don't know what it's
It
about.
makes sense. Doesn't it make sense? Why doesn't it make sense?
It's a
What
dive.
sister's stuck underwater, the other sister has to go save her. Very simple plot.
Yeah,
Okay.
The
too
dive.
simple. If you go down too fast and you can't really go up that fast.
Oh yeah, decompression, right? That's
Yeah.
so that's
it's
why
like
she
to
can't.
drive
She has to have to
divers.
stop halfway.
Okay.
And as well, they're talking underwater, which
Hmm?
currently there aren't really any masks that could actually do that properly.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. So maybe it's not very realistic then.
It's totally not realistic. It's like
Okay.
the fakest thing ever.
Okay.
It's one of the totally non-realistic movies, like the old movie, which was completely so super awkwardly bad.
Mm.
It's still way better than Freddy's, according to critics.
Oh, but the audience is
Yeah,
horrible.
but the audience didn't like it at all. Like it's
Freddy.
yeah. I mean, they didn't
Mm,
really like it.
Yeah,
But I mean, I think that Five Nights at Freddy came out at just the right time with the Halloween season. It was the perfect time to release it.
Yeah, it was the perfect time
I
to
think
release
I
it.
think that really helped their sales and their box office performance, because timing is important as well when it comes to
30%.
um
Mm.
like you can't really release a movie like this at Christmas. You have to release it at Halloween,
Yeah, but that score is insane. 30% to 88%.
Yeah.
It's
But
still a
yeah,
huge disparity.
yeah,
Exactly.
huge disparity, but as well, The Dive was really mediocre, really basic.
Yeah,
Too basic.
doesn't sound that interesting, really,
Like
from the
I
plot.
after watching it, I wanted to walk out, but then I paid for it, so I just sat in. It's like
I think
I want this to end. It felt longer than the 30 minutes that it was.
it's only 90 minutes.
one?
It's
I
only
know,
an
it
hour
felt-
and a half.
It felt longer because it was so boring.
Yeah, that feels long when it's not a good movie. It can drag on.
Yeah, it drags on. Even the whole action or like rushing scenes, it made no sense.
Mm.
Mm. Exactly.
Like if you're that worried, she's making so many mistakes here and there and everywhere. It's like insane how bad.
Yeah, of course. She's panicking.
Yeah, but
She has 20 minutes to save her sister.
if you notice the time, it's far longer than 20 minutes.
Yeah, it is pretty long.
It made no sense. Like the timeline never agreed with anything. It was just bad.
Mm.
Well, anyway, back to Loki.
Mhm.
I think we should get to our scores. We keep
Yeah.
going off
I know,
topic.
we're just so unfocused tonight.
We
Talking about
digress quite
that,
a
talking
lot.
about the dive.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
get back to Loki. I think we'll just get to our scores. We covered a lot of Loki as well. So
Yeah. We did
Mhm.
cover the Easter eggs, so that's yeah, there was
Oh, yeah.
quite a few of those interesting Easter eggs.
That's true. That's true.
Hmm.
so yeah, your score.
Yeah, Jeff.
Oh, yeah, I'll give it a 7.5. Yeah, thought it was pretty good. Just learn more about the time, the different, yeah, where they're going and stuff like that. Yeah. And I'm waiting to see what the finale will look like. Yeah, probably next week. Yeah. Yeah, I'll give it 7.5 this week. Mm.
Solid.
Hmm.
Bill?
Bill, are you there?
Mm.
For me, it's a 7 because it was really good to see what their lives were like before they got
Mhm.
snatched out of their own timelines.
That's
That was
true.
the most interesting part, I think, of this episode, was seeing their original timelines,
Yeah,
essentially,
that's
where they
true.
got
That's true.
snatched from. So yeah, I never expected Casey to be Frank Morris. You know, like it's just that's such an interesting thing to
Mm.
see. Um, and just seeing what Mobius's life was like, because he'd been sort of actively avoiding trying to find his own sort of previous life.
Mm.
But yeah, you could see that yeah, you could see why he was into all these jet skis, jet ski magazines. You know,
Just
um,
yeah.
now that makes sense.
Mm.
You know, that he had that magazine with the jet skis at the TVA.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
found the
Just kidding.
perfect blend of form and function.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it doesn't seem like he heard that line before until like he said it.
Yeah. So I
Mm.
found that really interesting. Yeah, seeing what his life was like before the TVA came into his life. So,
Mhm.
but it's interesting that he wanted to stay into TVA. You know, did he not enjoy that life? You know, even though he had 2 sons, and yet he still didn't want to go back when he had the chance before.
Yeah.
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 And he was from one of the more recent timelines. 2022.
Yeah. So it wasn't even that far back when he got snatched. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Whereas Casey came from so many more years ago, like 62.
Mm.
Um,
That's true.
yeah.
But then again, he's been at the TVA for years.
He said he was there for like hundreds of years or something, you know, like a really long time.
Yeah.
Almost as long as Renslayer, as Ravonna.
Yeah. Timelines are weird in TVA.
Yeah.
Or time passes differently in the TVA, is what they say.
Yeah, that's
The
right.
timeline, yeah. Mm.
But it kind of makes me wonder where Ravonna was from too, as well, originally, because that hasn't been totally explored yet. Like we see a little bit of her background from what Miss Minutes has told her before, you know, her memory got erased.
They did in
Miss
season
Minutes.
1.
Mm.
We see Ravenna Renslayer as a teacher with a different name,
Hmm.
but I forgot which year it was.
Yeah. But I'm wondering if that's her original timeline or whether that was just because of the multiverse sort of effect.
Mm.
You know, whether that was just a branch or whether that was where she really was originally.
I think it might have been because
Yeah.
if this episode has anything to go with it, it does seem like they all had their minds wiped and gone to those particular timeline branches. Like there are different timelines. Mobius is in 2022. He doesn't remember anything. Same as B15. She doesn't remember.
Yeah.
So how it looks like, it does seem like they probably went to those particular timelines.
Yeah. Although with Ravonna, I suppose it was a little bit different because she actually, you know, was one of the original founders of the TVA with He Who Remains.
Yeah.
They had worked together to even create it. So she was there from like the inception really of TVA. Of the TVA. So yeah. So I don't think she would have wanted to go back to her old life because she really enjoyed, like I could understand why she would want to stay in, you know, in the TVA because that was something that she helped create.
Oh yeah. The
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah. But that's yeah, so it's a very kind of interesting thing. And I suppose if there's gonna be like, you know, a link between Loki and the next Marvel movie, it would be to do with, you know, I guess the next Avengers would be about Kang. I don't know whether that's been filmed yet.
Oh, the
Before,
Kang thing.
yeah,
Yeah, everything is being
This
pushed
one.
back, it seems, and the whole Jonathan Majors case is still
Or-
ongoing.
for his case, and it's possible that that was already sort of maybe partially filmed or written before the strike and
They might need to reboot, was it? Yeah.
his
I think.
and his case.
Mm.
Because you know, with Marvel, they always plan things so much in advance that you know, there could have been a lot that was already kind of done before all this sort of popped up. You know, with the pandemic. I mean, the first thing was the pandemic. Then the second thing was the strike, and then Jonathan Major's case as well. So
Yeah.
it's been a bunch of different things sort of caused this to get pushed back.
Yeah. They had to reshoot it and stuff. Yeah. Interesting.
But yeah, overall, it's still, you know, yeah, this had a lot less action, but
Yeah.
I still found it quite intriguing just because from like a story point of view, you know, you really got to know the different lives of the
Yeah.
characters. So it's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of sad, like sometimes how these cases could completely affect the entire shows.
Yeah.
Like it's still ongoing and it's still alleged. Nothing has been said about it.
Mm.
And it does seem like more now that Jonathan Majors was a victim.
Jonathan Majors. Yeah.
I mean, it definitely to me looks a lot like an extortion case.
Yeah, it seems to be, but because of that, the entire industry is feeling the hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, as if the whole AI, you know, thing
Oh, the AI.
isn't enough. You know, I mean, there's been so many hits. First the pandemic, then the strike, and then the AI thing, and then stuff like this. You know, that's even though it's a personal thing, it's affected everyone else.
Yeah, and it happened
But it's also
when
working on
Jonathan Majors was on the rise. Like he had so many shows.
Yeah. Jonathan
And-
Majors.
and things like this can affect the entire production of a movie, like it did with Johnny Depp, you know, with Fantastic
Oh, yeah,
Beast.
Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, yeah.
Yep,
Um,
and we know how that turned out. He actually was the victim.
Yeah.
And then some people will boycott a movie just because someone that they still think, is guilty or something
Mm.
is in
Yes,
it.
the Aquaman show is going to be quite bad.
And then, and obviously, where if it's like a show or a movie that has already been completed, they don't want to redo it. They don't have the budget to be able to do that. So that can really affect the movie
Mm.
as well.
Exactly.
How
Yeah.
come we got to talking about this?
Yeah. So what's your score? Mark?
Yeah, let's go back. Let's
Yeah.
go
So
back.
many distractions. Um,
Okay.
We've been
Whoops.
really distracted tonight.
yeah,
Whoops.
maybe 7.5. It's a good one. This one.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just I think all of us like how we can see what their lives were before.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we actually for the first time see what Mobius used to do, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty strong
Pretty strong one.
build up to the finale. Yeah.
Mhm.
So he's finally putting all the pieces together.
Yeah.
Leading
Looking
up
forward
to next week's finale.
Mm.
I feel
Yep.
like throughout the show, that's sort of what Loki's been doing, like trying to figure out, okay, how do I solve this time slipping problem? How do we solve the temporal loom blowing up? It's been sort of like, I guess, a kind of problem solving journey for him.
Yeah, I know. I'm still conflicted whether I like this Loki or not. On the one hand, it's cool, but on the other hand, I do miss the whole God of Mischief.
The mischievous side of him is kind of
It's
what
still there.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not really there in this episode, is it? It's just
Yes,
it's just
it's
really
not.
trying to problem solve.
Yeah.
It's really just being a good guy.
Yeah, but as well, his selfishness
Mm.
is still evident in this.
Yeah.
He's still selfish. Like even Sylvie pointed it out.
Selfish.
You're being selfish.
True, but it's different, right? He's selfish. It's a good type of selfishness. It's not. He wants friendship.
Yeah, but then isn't that what he always wanted? Like to be in good terms with the brother?
I suppose
He
that
went about it in a
old-
really bad way the first time,
Mm.
but
This
again, he
time,
hasn't fully properly changed because he still has those aspects to him.
Mm. I suppose that's
Yeah.
kind of what makes him Loki, because it was, because he was obviously, in Asgard, he was supposed to be a frost giant, but was, considered too weak by Laufey. So then he'd sort of experienced that rejection. And then when Thor's family took him in, when Odin took him in, he still didn't feel like he truly belonged.
What
In some ways. Kind of felt a bit outsider. So I think this, wanting to rescue the TVA is really about sort of wanting to, rescue his safe space in a way. Like because he has friends there.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes. But then I guess at the time he also didn't know that the timelines were ending, so
Yeah.
they only realized it at the very end.
Yeah. Anyway.
What did IGN give it? What did IGN?
Oh, I haven't got to Jono yet. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Jonathan.
Jonah, what's yours for?
Yeah. So yeah, this was a solid episode. We get a lot of backstory to some characters. Like Mobius, we get quite a bit of. We get back to Sylvie. We find out Casey was.
Yeah, I thought that was fun.
Yeah, Frank.
The
see.
prison break
Escape
was
from
quite fun.
Alcatraz. Yeah, that was quite funny. Like the whole fish scene was like, yep, we got
fish.
that reference. Yeah, what's a fish? Okay, you like a fish.
The fish.
So they they come back to that. It's like they're referencing season 1 quite a bit. That they did the whole DB Cooper like thing again with Frank.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe it's with the jet skis. We
Okay.
finally get backstory with that.
That's not bad.
But yeah, again with the whole B-15 thing. Bit disappointing.
Yeah, I could have expanded on that a bit more. I felt like her scenes were a little too abrupt.
Yeah, and too cut down. Like
Yeah,
we don't even know that character's name.
yeah. We don't get a real name.
We know that she's a doctor.
Mm.
She's a doctor.
She adopted.
And that's it. Like we didn't really get a name.
Yeah.
Mm.
I just wish that sequence had been slightly longer, so we got to know her more. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And DA Doug was hilarious as usual. Or OB.
Yeah, Obi.
Will be.
Yeah.
Mm.
So he turned into a science fiction writer.
Mm.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
kind of makes sense in this
That definitely
episode because it's called science fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it science or is it fiction?
It's science fiction.
Yeah, but in order to write the books, he also had to study physics or something. It's like, yeah, that was funny. Abby's character in this was hilarious.
I love his character. It's just just so funny.
Yeah, we didn't meet the wife though. I wonder
Yeah.
what the wife would have been like.
Will be.
But apparently he spent like 18, 19 months building a temp pad all on his own.
Yeah.
And his wife helped him.
Mm.
But that's all we got from that story.
Yeah.
It could have been expanded a bit more, but who knows?
Mm.
Mm.
But overall, I'd give maybe this episode a solid 5.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
they could have done more with this episode,
Mm.
but then I think they constrained it too much.
Yeah, yeah. That's true.
7 this time.
Okay.
They actually thought it's the strongest hour yet. Because they didn't like the first few that much.
5, 7, yeah.
I think they like how they show all the backstory of everybody.
Maybe that's what they like about it.
Except B-15.
Except B-15.
Yeah, I feel like they sort of
It's a doctor. Yeah, that's all we know.
Yeah, that's all we get. Come on.
It's a doctor.
They could have done more.
Yeah. I wish her stuff, her scenes had been longer. It was just way too short.
Yeah.
Yes. Interesting.
And yeah, I think that's it.